late age in my life.
2, 1.
Through the sober house. I'm like, drive me around. I'll pay you.
Welcome everybody back to the Sober Gang Experience podcast, where we delve into the complex world of addiction and its path to recovery. Today I got a special broadcast. I got my guests and speakers on board with me again today. We're going to talk about the issue with these doctors handing out these prescription pills to addicts and things of that nature. Is it bad? Or, we just going to have our open panel discussion about the situation. I'm going to also share a video clip. We're going to jump right into it. Good evening, ladies. Good evening, queens. How y'all doing today?
Good. Thank you.
What's been going on in y'all world?
For myself, Alicia, I feel really accomplished today. I got done an online training for work, so it's a lot of information, but I got it done, and so I feel really good about today.
I know Miss Alicia was saying that school about to start back and everything like that. I'm going back to school myself in February, so I'm trying to finish off my school and things like that. So. Miss Jennifer, how you been doing?
I've been doing good. Just been struggling in my body. I think I'm gonna have to have a colonoscopy. Just 51 years old, and it's time for me to really start stepping up on taking care of my body. So been having a little bit of trouble, but nothing bad. But I don't like to go to the doctor, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do to take care of yourself. So I got to have a colonoscopy. So I'm here now. But, like you say, with the doctors writing out prescriptions, I think doctors should be more careful about what they write out, but it's also a mind thing. It's up to you on how, because we got to understand our spirit is healed, but our outer body will never heal. So to me, it's a mind thing. It's all what you put into it. But do I agree with it? No. I don't like going to doctors, but sometimes when I'm feeling some type of way, I pray about it, but I'm still going to go to a doctor and see what's going on and get myself out,
Yeah, because right now Miss Jennifer, she having a lot of complications right now. I know over the weekend, I wanted everybody to pray for her because she was at that stage where she was trying to give up on us, everybody. She was talking about relapsing, and she couldn't deal with it anymore and stuff like that. So, I made a post on our Facebook wall, for everybody to pray for, give some, some support, and so that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And everybody out there watching, I see some people that are watching. This is the Sober Gang Experience podcast. This is my guest panel of speakers. Today we're going to be discussing the issue with doctors prescribing these pills to these addicts. And in particular, we got this one doctor that I'm going to highlight today. And we're going to show a video clip of, and we're going to also give our thoughts about the situation. So I'm going to try to play the video clip right here.
A wrongful death lawsuit is filed today against a Midwest City doctor.
Reagan Nichols is already accused of prescribing a massive amount of opioids to 5 patients who later died.
But then when I heard that there was 4 other deaths, then I started thinking, uh-oh.
Good evening. A Midwest City doctor.
A doctor in Oklahoma, 3 million doses. That's the amount of narcotics investigators say Dr. Reagan Nichols prescribed in 2010.
I was very happy she got arrested. I was watching on TV. I was very happy for that to happen. But on the other part, it was sad because this is supposed to be a doctor. How many did she harm? I didn't know. And then you turn mad. I'm mad. I'm mad. Why? I'm mad because she took my daughter. I'm mad that she took my daughter away. So I'm mad now.
Lisa and Eddie have spent their entire life in this house. This is where their daughter Chelsea was born 21 years ago. Here also that she passed away of a painkiller overdose in 2013. Their story is one of an analgesic-burdened family hiding in the secret and shame of addiction.
She's had
4 back surgeries.
Yeah.
Dr. Nichols was Lisa's doctor for 7 years. She was the first to fall into the opioids trap.
When I first started seeing her, I thought she was going to be okay, and she was giving me pain medicine to help my back. But as the years go by, of course, your body gets used to that medicine, so then it doesn't work. You know.
Also, for the YouTube purposes, this video is for educational purposes only. We are giving our commentary and our reaction to this video.
You used to take 1 pain pill, and now you're having to take 2 or 3 pain pills because the pain is so bad. So it just increased, and it's just a vicious cycle because you got to have the medicine, but you don't want to have to take that much medicine. But you can't. I couldn't work and do my job if I didn't have the medicine.
Lisa hid her own addiction. What she didn't know is that her daughter was doing the same thing. For 3 years, Chelsea had diabetes, which causes muscular pains. It was her turn to consult with Dr. Nichols.
I asked her about the quantity of medicine she was giving her, and her response to me was Chelsea was an adult, that she couldn't talk to me about Chelsea's medical. But she could talk to me about Chelsea's diabetes, but she wouldn't talk to me about the medication that she was giving her. I did trust her. I trusted her with my daughter, and that I feel extremely responsible because Chelsea would have never seen her.
Never seen her wet. And I met this doctor, more than once, several times at the hospital when Chelsea would be in the hospital. I thought she seemed very caring. That's what I would have thought by listening to her. I asked her questions, and you just don't know. Maybe money made her do it. Maybe it's the love of money. Maybe did that to her. Because I know that when she chose to be a doctor, I would bet on it that she chose to want to help people.
We met Dr. Nichols almost a year ago. I think she has a very good heart. She wants to help people. Maybe a little awkward, but she's got a really sweet heart. My name's Tommy Adler. I'm a criminal defense attorney here in Oklahoma City. We represent Dr. Reagan Nichols. I really like her very much. Doctors lose patients all the time. To accuse a doctor of acting in reckless disregard for her patients when we believe that she was genuinely attempting to care for them is a big step for the government. That exposes doctors to a lot of risk. These were troubled people. These patients were abusing the things that they had access to. It wasn't the amounts that Dr. Nichols prescribed these people that killed them. It was the amounts that they decided to take.
Her line of defense is set to shift away the shadow of responsibilities. Dr. Nichols was an irreproachable professional who was duped by drug addicts. And she never had any awareness that her patients were facing any danger whatsoever. Nowadays in Oklahoma City, addiction can be seen at every corner.
I'm gonna stop it right there for a little while. So what are y'all thoughts about Miss Dr. Nichols prescribing these, the prescription pain pills to these people? What are y'all thoughts about?
To me, she was kind of wrong. And that's why I have a Christian doctor. So I chose to have a Christian doctor, somebody that was going to tell me what was good for me and what was not good for me. But it's hard to say because sometimes we can't.
Yeah, it's different.
We can't.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Blame somebody else because we know better. We know better. And even though she was wrong, that it's hard, that's something hard to explain. But I'm gonna say for me, I knew better. And I knew what I was going in that doctor's office to get. I wasn't going in there to get it for pain. I was going there to get it to get high. So I'm talking about me. Um, a doctor gonna go by what you say first of all, and like that man said, the love of money, the insurance, the money. But I done it because I enjoyed doing it and I wanted to get high. That's just me. So I chose to do that. So I don't blame nobody for what I've done, what I've done to my life. I don't blame not a soul because I knew what I was doing.
Do you think there's a lot of more addicts out there that actually know what they're, what's going on and go there just to do it?
Yeah. Instead of just dealing with your problem, because drug addiction, obesity, everything stems from issues in your life. I was abused as a child. I didn't know how to go tell my mama that my daddy abused me. So when I got a certain age, when I started, even before I told my mom, I just started drinking. And then I went to the doctor, got a teeth pulled, got one teeth pulled, and they gave me pain, and that was it. So I had a choice to let my mama know what was going on with me, whether it was my daddy or who it was. But I chose to keep that a secret. And I destroyed my own life because I kept that a secret for 45 years. I didn't tell my mama till I was 45 years old. I kept that a secret, Boosie. And I carried that with me because of the shame and guilt. You understand what I'm saying? So I had a choice. I could have went and told my mama. But all I kept looking at, he's my daddy. He was my daddy. So to me, I had a choice to tell my mama. But I chose to hold on to that. So really, I destroyed my own life. I mean, I don't know how nobody else think. Some people may think I'm wrong, but I did because I had a choice. I could have told my mama and she would have handled that situation. But I chose to hold on to that.
Miss Alicia, what's your thoughts about it?
I think it's a gateway because I'm sure for some, I know I've in the past taken advantage of a situation with a doctor and being able to be prescribed pain medication, knowing I didn't necessarily need it. The pain was tolerable, but I did it anyways.
Yeah.
It's nothing I would have thought of until the opportunity arose. And I think there's a lot of people who sometimes end up like their addiction gets started all because they broke their leg and they were given a narcotic medication that was probably way stronger than it needed to be.
Right.
But something clicked in their brain that like, oh, I can use this to numb emotional or mental pain as well. And then the opportunity's there and we take it and we become addicts.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think these doctors actually know sometime when they're doing wrong, but they just, is it, like she said, the love of money, the greed part about it, that they just can't stop, or what y'all think about it?
I think that there's accountability on both ends of it, right? Because there's two different perspectives. When you're coming from the doctor's perspective or you're coming from like my perspective, and I can only speak from what I know and what I experience, right? And so for me, just recently, I had come to the conclusion that I didn't feel like my doctor was doing it in a professional and ethical manner, and that I was also taking advantage of the program or the service that was being provided. The doctor can think that they're doing us an ethical service, but we're not being honest about it.
Yeah.
Like, I think for me, when CPS came to me and said, well, if you're addicted to opiates, I want you to go use this buprenorphine program, which I did. And then once I realized that this was money, this was big money in my pocket. And so I absolutely took advantage of that. But I wasn't honest with my like family doctor until I was trying to get sober, and where I said, even now to this day, if I have major things going on, like I had major surgery, I told them, like I was very blunt about it. I will not take pain meds. Like, and I can't.
Yeah.
Some people can, you know, it's all about your pathway and what you can handle yourself.
Absolutely right, because I also think that the physician and also the doctors, I mean, you should already know when your patient come in what kind of state they're in. You know what I mean? And even if they have a procedure, surgery like that, I don't really think it's necessary for them to actually give them the highest dose of painkillers possible. I know some doctors don't do that. You know what I mean? You got some out there that really just don't care about nothing. Like you said, Alicia, it's the ethical part about it that really it's on both ends of the field. So we got to take accountability for the things that we do as well.
You know what, Bootsy? I had a total hysterectomy, y'all, a full-blown hysterectomy. And don't you know I went through that whole surgery without a pain pill? They thought I was crazy. And I told them, I said, you know where I come from. And then you understand. But I went through a whole surgery, and it was the worst pain I ever experienced in my life. And Bootsy also know about my doctor gave me a medical marijuana card to also reduce my pain. And I cut it up because I said, how can I be a light to someone else, even though it was prescribed? And I talked to Bootsy about it. I still felt guilty. And I cut it up and I never used it again because I wanted to be a light. Even though it was prescribed for me, I still felt guilty about it. And I just didn't want no leeway of no sort to come in my life. So I told Boosie because I trust him and I couldn't trust everybody. So God led me to talk to him about it. So I finally just decided to cut it up and just not even deal with it no more.
Is this widespread amongst like in the entire country that doctors do this, or is just because I know I had Miss Alicia to have a couple questions for us to answer. Miss Alicia, you can ask your questions. You have them ready?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, let's go.
So one of the questions I had, which I'm glad it's being talked about right now, actually, do you think there are things you should tell or ask your doctor before being prescribed medication?
Yeah.
Especially as a recovering addicts, we're responsible for our recovery. So what would be some of those things that we should probably ask or tell our doctor before being prescribed medication?
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, a lot of places you fill out the history forms, and so they have the questions on there. And I'll be completely honest, I wasn't always honest on those documents, right? And them are the things where they're coming off, especially if you're going into a brand new doctor's office or a new dentist's office, you know. But I've had situations where, like, I went to a dentist and I got a tooth pulled and they asked me if I wanted meds, and I told them no, and they gave me a prescription anyways. So
yeah, you're absolutely right. But in some cases you might just come in there on like I said, an emergency type of thing. And I probably think that it's up to the family members if the patient or if the person that comes in there is not able to say anything at the time. But you're absolutely right. Yeah, I think it's up to us to actually just get this out to the doctor.
And with me, soon as I started coming to the doctor, when she asked that question, I told him face to face, look, I'm in recovery. So I'm letting you know. I told him how many years I had clean time. I just told him everything there was to know about me. I didn't keep no secrets. I told him everything. So yes, I let him know it up front. So be careful what you give me. I asked him when he wrote me out stuff, do this make me drowsy? Because if it made me drowsy, I didn't want it. Anything that would trigger me. So yeah, I literally told him right off the bat how what I was going through, what I was dealing with, and stuff like that. So yeah. hmm
Absolutely. Yeah, I think, but like you said, everybody, it's actually on both sides. Don't nobody say
hmm
nothing about it. I mean, sometimes the doctors just go do what what the job entitles them to do, and they prescribe you for pain and help you deal with what's going on after surgery and whatnot.
hmm
Absolutely.
So
So that leads me to another question.
Whoa.
So what would you suggest a recovering addict do if they come across a doctor who's insisting on them taking a narcotic or opioid medication and they don't want to?
That's a good one.
Well,
what?
I would say stand your ground with
Yeah.
you believe is the best for you, because I mean, we know our bodies, we know what we can handle and what we can't handle, and it definitely depends on where you are as a person in your own recovery and what you need, and well, some people use MAT and some people don't, and
hmm
but being able to voice that to a provider, and if it doesn't work out, then try to find another avenue, another provider, and there's a lot of them out there, so a lot of options.
I think Jennifer took that. She probably came back in. But you're absolutely right, Alicia. I think you got to stand your ground on that situation. Because like you said, you only know what you can handle. And if you look on that prescription and he come in there with some oxycontins and they the highest form of oxycontin there is, and you just come up off of that, and you're already knowing it. And when you take those right there, you're going to open up a can of worms. You know what I mean? They're going to open you right back up into the same situation that you was battling before you came in. So absolutely standing your ground. I think that's one of the main things you should do.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that I feel like when we first get clean, it's really hard to advocate for ourselves because we haven't done it in such a long time.
Absolutely.
Right. And sometimes, one of the things that I've learned is that when I found recovery, I learned to be a productive member of society, which means I have the right to advocate for myself. If I not everything is concrete. I do have choices today because I'm not loaded, and I can get a second opinion from a doctor, right? Just like Alicia said, like it's an option if we're open-minded to what's available to us and the resources that are there for us to advocate for ourselves.
The only like issue I would see with that is like barriers with people who can only afford to go certain places, or but I think being able to even voice that to your provider would be huge, and saying that I need a referral to this place for this reason.
Absolutely. So I would like to throw this out here too. What about the ones that when they insurance run out? Because I haven't had a lot of surgeries, with things like that. So when the insurance run out and these people have to go to the street to get it. Yeah, so that's kind of sketchy right there, because that could open up.
What do you mean, like go to the street to get the medication?
Medication, like the pills if they need them. Does that that happens probably a lot?
Well, speaking from what I know, I a lot of us deal with like state insurance here. But I have heard, through discussions with other people in different communities and different lines of work of other resources to use. I know just like on donation base too. So Some of the work that I do, I refer people to other resources in the community or like within the area. You know, there's like 15 miles to the nearest like big town. So being able to have those resources available to people. And I think even just recovery coaching is a huge, like it's a growing field, right? And like the recovery community too. That's one huge thing that's up and coming. But yeah, being able to have access to other resources outside of that. You know, like I know in town, we have a dentist. If you don't have insurance, they'll do the work for you. Like you can just walk in and they'll do the work for you.
Next up, Miss Alicia. Come on with it.
All right. Let's see. All right. Do you feel we would have less opioid addictions if there was more information provided to a patient about the medication being prescribed? Because that was one of the things I noticed in this story was there was no talk about the patient being educated on what they were taking.
Right.
Right. And we go in there and we trust the doctor, right, that they have the education. But do you think that that would make a difference if we had more, if patients were given more education and background of the medication being prescribed?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that would benefit a lot. Because like you said, you know, we are the ones that can actually stop it from happening. And when you know exactly what you're finna get yourself into, you know, you can kind of put a stop to it. Or you can just, like you said, edge it on a little bit.
I believe that as well. It's always like educate as much as you can. And like my field of work, I'm constantly learning different things. So being able to educate on like the Western medicine, right? But also like, what are the other avenues you could take besides this one, like holistic healing? How can we use some of that to come into play? And do we supplement them like together? Are we using the medicine and herbs, or, you know, there's like these infinite things that we could pair together to be able to take care of some of people's issues.
And with the holistic medicine, you break that down for me. How do that go?
Oh, okay. So this last weekend, I actually went on a retreat with some amazing women. A couple men were there as well. We did grounding, where we're soaking up the electrons from the earth. They're actually like grounding mats and sheets and like these little cuffs you can put on your arm. We tried different herbal like drops that you can take like orally, or you can just drop them in your water and you drink them throughout the day. Or sound therapy, vibration therapy, use it for both your body and your mind and your spirit, right? And like for me, it's going to sweat lodges, it's doing ceremonies, it's going to the water. And so there are so many different ways that you can use those different elements.
Yeah, I need to tap into some of that. Yeah, I need that. That'd probably be, yeah. I'm gonna try to tap into some of that. I'll be hitting you up on Messenger about how to do that correctly.
And I really love what Alicia's, how she mentions alternatives. Like I recently, I did a skydiving thing, right? So I said, when I got my 2 years, I was like, I'm going to go skydiving and give myself a gift. And I ended up hurting my back really bad. We crash landed, messed up my back to the point where they were suggesting major surgery.
Hold on. And you say crash landed.
We crash landed.
You just skipped over Alicia. See how she just skipped over there like that? Hold on, everybody.
Yeah, we were supposed to. It was tandem. I'll tell this real quick. It was tandem. It was a tandem jump, And when you're landing, you're supposed to bring your knees up to your chest and they plant you on your bottom when you land. Well, the instructions I was given didn't match up to that. And as we were coming down, I thought my ankles were going to hit the ground and be broken. So I tucked my legs under and we landed on top of me, all of his weight, all of my weight, face down, and literally slid and bounced till to the stop.
Wow.
And it was pretty bad. My leg was swollen. I couldn't walk for almost 2 weeks. And then it caught up to me later where I couldn't walk again. And they were talking about major surgery. And I thought it was interesting because I go, I did a little bit of research, right? Of course, like some of us do, we go and we try to research what's going on with my back on WebMD and all that stuff. And what it all led to was I was like, okay, maybe I have a slip disc, but they were talking about doing a big spinal fusion and everything. And I looked into alternatives, right? So I started seeing a chiropractor. I started doing physical therapy, and I was able to repair one of my discs. And when I went back to the doctor a year later, all I needed was a microdiscectomy, which was a very in and out surgery. It wasn't a major surgery. So, there are alternatives. It goes back to really being honest with the doctor if you feel like it's not, if it's something that's a little too extreme, and looking at what alternatives are out there.
Absolutely.
So I like that. Yeah, that there are alternatives for pain management.
Mm-hmm.
She hit it on the head when she said alternatives. Like you said, because some doctors just go do what they do. They go prescribe you this and get you on up out of there, send you home. But if you stop them and be like, you know what, hey, are there alternatives? I'm glad y'all put me up on that because
and I think one other point to make with that is, like you said, you're in, you're out, like they write your stuff. These people are on like time limits.
Right.
There are time limits to how much they, like time they give you, obviously, but like if you get like an extended one, where it was like I think it was like an hour and a half. I went in for an extended one, and I never even knew that was a thing that you could do. So like being able to give that information to someone could make a huge difference. Like, hey, I have 20 minutes to serve you versus I have an hour and a half to sit and talk.
Yeah, y'all put me on one right there. Cause yeah, absolutely. Because sometimes I go in there, especially if you need something, you get what you need, they write it out and you leave. You never just have the time to just think about, what, maybe, hey, doc, do we have an alternative? Can we do it this way? I don't never think like that. So yeah, y'all tell me something right there. That's what we here for. You got another one for us, Miss Alicia?
Yeah.
My girl bungee jump.
I did zip lining.
So I'm too scared to do anything like that again. I was like, I might just be that one who gets bit by the crocodile. I don't think I'm going to play with crocodiles.
Was it something to scratch off the bucket list, or it was just spare the moment fun?
Yeah, I'll stick to motorcycles. Motorcycles are fun, but those can be scary too. So my next question is, how do you think tolerance, because on the clip that we saw, she was talking about how she got adjusted to the medications. How do you think tolerance level plays a role in risk of overdose?
Right off the top of my head, I think it comes into play the biggest when you get someone that has been off of it for a while, and then they come back in and they think that their tolerance is still up to a certain level, and then they try to do the same amount, and that's where they're getting like the relapses.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I know a lot of people. Actually, I know 2 people who have died for using meth. They spent a lot of time like in recovery. Maybe I think both of them was in there for about 2 years. And might I add you, this was a couple. It's a boyfriend and girlfriend. They went to rehab, they went to treatment, and both of them stopped using and was found dead over an overdose in their apartment because both of them decided to use. Like one night, they just went on a binge.
Mm-hmm.
I really do think that has something to do with it. You know, like you said, when you stop for a long time, their body had got used to it. You know, I guess I have heard that it takes your body up to like at least 2 years for you to actually get back from things that you was putting in it.
So like, just like a spin-off of the tolerance, right? So I had a discussion with my dentist and it all came from like, she kept having to like numb me and I couldn't, like I could still feel everything. And so she had asked me if I believed it had something to do with like my tolerance and that I was using like opiates and buprenorphine for such a long time, like an extended period for each one, you know, whether I was using both of them at the same time or not. But is like my pain tolerance so low because I was doing it all the time, and now I just like having to numb me up. So many, like 3 times I think it was, she did numb me up for that one tooth.
That's sketchy, man. I know a lot of people are dealing with that across the globe. A lot of people are still dying. Like with this fentanyl crisis, man, this stuff is really killing people. You know, it don't take much at all. Especially when people stop doing it and then they go right back to it. You're risking your life every time we try to do this shit. Mm-hmm. I'm for real. Like every time we try to think we can sneak one in, you're risking your life every time. One thing that I really do think about, if I'm having those thoughts, I honestly think about the kids. I'll be like, man, okay, if I do go out here and think I can sneak one in, what if I do overdose? What if I can't come back to the kids? You know what I mean? But that's what I'm doing this all for. That's why I'm going to school. That's why I'm trying to better myself. That's why I'm 2 years clean sober. That's why I'm starting my business. I'm doing it for them. So I don't want to just let them down just by me wanting to just say I could sneak one in. It's a tough road we climb. I think we'll be okay though. I think so.
I think it's so much more dangerous now because everything's getting pressed with with like meth and like the xylazine, and the xylazine's a huge one in my area right now.
What is that? What is that?
It's a if I remember correctly, it's a tranquilizer.
Wow.
So I think in 1 week we had 3. Over a span of 8 or 9 days, we had 3 overdoses in the community.
Thank you. I see some people in the building. This is the Sober Gang. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're brand new. For my cast of guest speakers today, I hope y'all enjoying this. Make sure you hit that like button. Okay. Mr. Leach, you got another one for us?
Yeah. So what would you say to someone who is dealing with opioid addiction?
Me personally? Well, I would first off tell them they're not alone. You're not alone in trying to fight this fight, and that there is help, whether that's with me or another person.
I would tell them this. I'm gonna be straight up. That's what I do. You got 2 options. Either you can stop doing the shit, go to rehab, and try your best to get yourself together. You're gonna end up dead. It's really that simple. Sometimes when you break it down to people, you know, they ask me, why you say it to them like that? Because sometimes the truth, you'd rather hear the truth than somebody the code and stuff and be like, you know what, you're gonna be okay, you'll be all right. Nah, man, you'll die. When I give you next year, you'll be dead. Look at you. Look, you will be dead within the next year. And the reason I say that to pump fear into them, because sometimes, you know, a lot of people are coddled. They're just going about the way with no regards. You know, so sometimes it's needed for people just to hear the raw and uncut truth. Got it. 'Cause at any moment, you can go right out there and take them pills or take whatever it is and just turn over and die. Everything that you doing is just thrown down the drain. So I would tell them, man, just it basically if that is what you want, you gotta want it first. Cause you ain't no way you gonna be able to go to rehab if you're not really wanting it. You're faking it to make it. That's what we always say. You fake it to make it. Don't be going in there faking it to make it because there's actually some people in rehab that is really there to try to get, try to get themselves together.
So I have another question just to kind of piggyback off of that one. And maybe this can be a little bit of each of our experience with what signs did you see in your life that made you believe you had a problem with addiction? Because I think, you may have viewers that may be wondering, am I an addict? Am I not an addict? So what are the signs that you experienced yourself that made you draw the conclusion, you know what, I think I have a problem with addiction and I need help?
Waking up, getting paid on a Friday, and you broke on a Saturday.
Or you're already broke before you even get paid.
Exactly, before
that
you.
one was the big one for me.
Exactly. Noticing that you look up and you feel like, hey, you just got paid, and it's Sunday, and you already borrowing money. People look at that.
For me, one of the things for me was using even when I didn't want to.
Wow, yeah, I can admit to that. Yeah. Yeah.
Being like, I'll later, but I couldn't wait till later.
Right, that's me. I was just like,
I think like in that is like it was like routine, like I would go to work and I would like snort pills off the toilet in the bathroom, or like in my own life, in my relationships, I was losing relationships. The lying, like the gambling, the lying, the pills, the drinking. But a lot of it came down to the relationships for me with my then boyfriend, who is now my husband. Very blessed. And that I didn't really have like good friendships. They were all pretty superficial. And then, the financial aspect of it is like I was always broke before payday. Like I remember coming home after I went to rehab, and my first paycheck was gone. It was just gone, and trying to catch up because I was doing like those checking cash places.
Oh yeah,
setting up drug deals like weeks in advance.
Right.
Like a schedule of when people were getting what, and I knew, and I would pay them ahead of time while still borrowing from other, the checking cash places.
Yeah, so you was always in the negative. You wasn't nothing coming out of it. I understand. Also, I can piggyback off of what y'all said. Also, relationship. That's why, like right now, kind of like separated. But it wasn't from the things that I was doing. It's just like sometimes you just fall out of love. I guess. But right now, at this moment, I'm just focused. I mean, as long as the kids are happy, as long as I'm happy, as long as I'm doing all the necessary things, going to school and everybody can see it. I feel good. I'm healthy. I'm trying to just do everything the right way. So, yeah. When you start, like you said, man, y'all, when you get home and you broke the next day, that's a hard feeling. You get to work and you be bumming for cigarettes, man. Then you just get paid Friday. I mean, like,
I had a good job too. I was dealing cards.
I keep
I was good at my job.
Yeah, I keep a damn good job. This one dude, he a loan shark. He'll let you get what you need, but he'll double up. Like if you need a little something, he'll add like $50 or $75 on top of that.
Yeah, I had one of those too.
Yeah, I'll be going to him Sunday. I'll be going by his house. I bet you he was looking like, man, what is this boy doing? Well, hey, that's a shit we go. That's a good one, Alicia. That's a damn good one there. I'm glad you asked that. I know it's a lot of people out there that right now, if you're out there and y'all watching right now, I know a lot of people going through that right now. Getting paid on a Friday and fucking broke by Saturday night. That's when you know you got a problem. That's it, Mr. Alicia. That's it. That's what you got.
I have one last one, and this one I think it's going to be an awesome one because you know, we have a lot of viewers, I'm sure, that are already in recovery. So, what ways do you protect your recovery or prevent relapse when prescribed medication?
Ooh, I personally will tell my doctor I don't want anything stronger than Tylenol or ibuprofen for me, right? But I know people and have worked with people that have like given their medication to like a partner or a sister in order to help keep them accountable and having to take that, because it's in reality, some of us really need that, right? So that would be my advice, is to find kind of like what a payee does, but with
like
medication.
Like an accountability partner. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's sketchy. I agree with Miss Alicia. Yeah. Sometimes you need a little bag up. Sometimes you need some support on that one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I'll share like my dog was like prescribed like Neurontins, and that was one of my go-tos. I would eat them like candy, honestly, and I'm not even exaggerating when I say that. I would just like eat them and eat them and eat them. And so they were sitting on my windowsill there for a while, and so I was having a really hard day, and it instantly popped into my head as like my addict brain, right, just came into play, and I was like, oh, I got these and I could do it. But I asked my husband to throw them away, and he did. He went and took them and threw them away. And so trying to get rid of that temptation, even just that little bit,
like you said, having a good support group too.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people just don't understand that matters a lot. Having some people around that actually rooting for you and want to see you succeed and want to see you do good. Having a good support group around you can definitely help you a whole lot.
Absolutely. That's like one of my biggest goals for my community, is to really build that support system and that connection in the community. Because a lot of people are coming home and they don't have that. They don't have people that are rooting for them, that are willing to support them and how they need to be supported. And it's just a huge need, and being able to put work into that like all the time.
Especially in my community here in Arkansas, it's not a lot of facilities like you could go to. You got to go, to another little city and stuff like that. So what I'm trying to do, actually, I got my foot in the door. I'm finna start a halfway house. And also I'm finna start like doing a recovery walk in the city, getting everybody together. I'm trying to do this at least 2 times out the month, just a recovery walk. And I want to broadcast it on the news where people in recovery, we just go walk the streets. It's just something to just get people motivated, give them something they can look forward to. Because a lot of people that is out there right now that just don't have anything to look forward to, but to wake up and get high again, go to sleep, get high, get drunk, or whatever it is. But to have somebody that actually out there fighting for them, oh man, he doing this recovery walk. Let me get up. I'm not going to get high today. Let me go out there and walk with this man today, because he's really trying to help these people. That is really what I love. I'm passionate about that right now. But yeah, we're going to make it, y'all. We're going to make it. Thank you, girls. Thank y'all, my beautiful queens, today. This is the Sober Gang Experience podcast. And if y'all missed this one, y'all looked out. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're brand new. And also make sure you share this live stream. Make sure you share this on all your platforms. Thank you, wonderful ladies, today. I will be talking to y'all again. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Have a good one.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank y'all. Thank the ladies. Once again, everybody. I can't make this up. I would love to take the time out to thank both ladies, all three ladies, including Miss Jennifer. I think she left in the middle of the broadcast, but thank everybody who participated today. This is what we're doing. We are creating something special over here on the Sober Gang Experience podcast. I know it gives you chills in your body. Come on, man. Stop playing with me. We're doing something special over here, man. Every week, every Tuesday. Every Tuesday at 1 o'clock, we will be going live with my guest panel speakers. So I would love for you to start coming with us. Join us on our journey. We're trying to educate. We're trying to inform you. And we're just trying to give you a different perspective on addiction and the things that are happening in this world today. So I would love for you guys to continue to follow me on my journey. Follow me on my Facebook, Sober Gang Support Group. I will be having it in my description box. And also, if you are new to this channel, subscribe. Subscribe to this channel. But this channel is something that is very much needed right now. We are trying to help those out that is battling addiction. And my team is getting bigger. My team is getting stronger. Yeah, y'all see the movement. So thank you guys for tuning in with us today. This was a good one. Mr. Show Out TV. Yeah.
Welcome to Mr. Show Out TV Recovery and Addiction YouTube channel, where we hope to inspire those battling addiction. Please subscribe and like the channel. Make sure you click the notification bell to get notified whenever we broadcast. Thank you and enjoy the show. To support the channel, you can send donations to Cash App $Mr. Show Out TV. So please don't wait, subscribe now. Together we can help and give inspiration to millions of people.